Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Teacher Corner for You. Today's topic is about resting to rise, where we discuss the power of pausing with a purpose. If there's one thing I've learned in nearly 2 decades of teaching, is that busy can become a badge of honor. We race from meeting to meeting, juggle lesson plans, answer parent emails, and pour into our students. We juggle our everyday duties while trying to maintain balance in our own lives. However, beneath the whirlwind, there's a quiet truth we often overlook. Growth doesn't only happen in motion, sometimes it happens in the pause. Why we resist rest? Educators are nurturers by nature. We're wired to care, to give, to fix, to help. In our pursuit of doing enough, we often equate rest with guilt. We think to ourselves, if I stop, I'll fall behind, or my students need me, or there's still so much left to do. Does that sound familiar? Here's the reality: rest is not a reward for getting everything done, it's a requirement for doing it well. When we resist rest, we end up teaching from a empty well. We try to pour water from a cup that's been dry for weeks. So, the power of the pause. Pausing isn't about doing nothing, it's about creating space to breathe, reflect, and simply be. Think of a pause as a comma in your day, not a period. In music, the rest between notes give the melody shape and meaning. In writing, the spaces between paragraphs let ideas sink in. In teaching, the quiet moments when we step back, observe, and listen allow learning to take root. We too need those pauses. They give us clarity, creativity, and compassion, the very qualities that make us effective educators and fulfilled human beings. What pausing can look like? Rest doesn't always mean a full weekend getaway, though, if you can, go for it. Sometimes it's much simpler, like 5 minutes of stillness before you start your day, or a mindful walk between classes without your phone, or saying no to one extra task this week. Even a lunch break that's actually a break, such as away from your desk or away from grading, and even a pause before reacting, especially in moments of stress, to respond instead of react. The art of pausing is learning to recognize when your body and mind whisper, enough for now. So here are some reflections from the classroom. A few years ago, I found myself running on fumes between testing sessions and, the season of testing, the lesson prep and meetings. I was exhausted, but I kept pushing. That weekend, I paused. I didn't grade. I didn't plan. I went for a walk with my camera, sat by the water, and just listened to the wind. By Monday, I felt lighter and grounded. I felt different. I was different. My students noticed. The classroom felt different too. It was calmer and more joyful. That experience reminded me that our energy sets the tone for the learning environment. When we rest, we model balance. When we pause, we give our students permission to do the same. That's what I want you to do. Give yourself permission. Sometimes the hardest part of pausing is believing you're allowed to. So here's your reminder: you are allowed to slow down. You are allowed to take time from yourself. You are allowed to say, I need a moment. Your worth is not measured by how much you produce, but by how present you are. where you can be there for your students, your loved ones, and for yourself. Here's a gentle challenge for the week. Before you rush into your next task, try this. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. Ask yourself, what do I need right now? Give yourself permission to pause, even if it's just for a moment. You might be surprised at how much strength you find in stillness. So, here are my closing thoughts. Rest is not a luxury, it's an act of courage. In choosing to pause, you honor your humanity and your purpose. You remind yourself and everyone watching you that thriving doesn't mean running nonstop. It means learning to listen to the rhythm of your own life. So, as we move through this busy season, may you give yourself the grace to pause, recharge, and return renewed. Your future self and your students will thank you. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Teacher Corner for You, the podcast. I'm your host, Miss SJ. See you next time.